Australia is home to the golden silk orb-weave spiders, arachnids that are so big that they can eat entire foot and a half meter long snakes. The creator of Pringles, Frederick Bohr, had his ashes stored in a Pringles can after he died. Dolphins don't drink, as seawater makes them ill or could even potentially kill them. Instead, they get all their liquids from the food that they eat. Skittles and jelly beans contain insect cocoons which are used to coat candies to give them that special shine known as shellac. The actor who plays Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson, once saved a plane from crashing after the pilot passed out, despite never having piloted a plane before. Only 30% of the Earth is covered by land. Campanology is the art of bell ringing. In the early 1990s, Michael Jackson tried to buy Marvel Comics so that he could play Spider-Man in his own self-produced movie. More people die from attempting selfies than from shark attacks. Rhythm is the longest word without any vowels. Michael Birch, the founder of the social networking site Bebo, sold it to AOL for $850 million in 2008, only to later buy it back for $1 million in 2013. 1/3 of the Earth's surface is partially or total desert. In 2009, Burger King launched a campaign that if you unfriended 10 of your Facebook friends, you would receive a free Whopper. Using the Whopper sacrifice application, your friend would receive a message telling them that their friendship was less valuable than a Whopper. If a Google employee dies, their spouse gets half their salary for the next 10 years, stock benefits, and their children get $1,000 per month until they're 19. Nemo makes an appearance in the movie Monsters, Inc. as a toy that Boo gives to Sully a full 2 years before the movie Finding Nemo came out. Pixar movies are infamous for being full of Easter eggs like this. A false awakening is the term used for a vivid or convincing dream about awakening from sleep when in reality you're still sleeping. In 2013, a man named Rogelio Andeverde was abducted from his home right in front of his wife by 2 masked men with guns. Luckily, he returned 2 days later, unharmed. It was later discovered that he staged his own kidnapping just so he could go out and party with his friends. Rotterdam in the Netherlands is getting a floating forest. They're taking 20 trees that have been removed for development and placing them in boats throughout the waterfront. Camels actually have 3 eyelids to protect their eyes from blowing sand. The upper and lower eyelids have eyelashes, however. There's a third one that's a thin membrane that they can see through even in a sandstorm. There's a phobia called allodoxophobia that's actually the fear of people's opinions. People with this live in constant fear and anxiety of hearing other people's opinions of them. Pumbaa was the first ever character to fart in a Disney movie. The sword-billed hummingbird is the only bird with a bill longer than its body. A giant American wasp called the tarantula wasp has a sting so painful, one peer-reviewed journal advises anyone who gets stung to lie down and scream to avoid further injury. The Weber Natural Swimming Pool in Minneapolis, Minnesota is a natural swimming pool. It is a self-contained swimming vessel that uses plants and natural microbes from a nearby regeneration pond to clarify and purify the water instead of chemicals for sterilization or disinfection. While writing Hot Fuzz, Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright referred to the supermarket manager, Simon Skinner, as being played by a Timothy Dalton-type actor before thinking to ask Dalton himself to be in the film. To their surprise, Dalton had loved Shaun of the Dead and signed on for the role. Erwin Schrödinger never thought a cat could be both alive and dead. The thought experiment was a satire that criticized the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics. In 1976, Bill Gates wrote an open letter to computer hobbyists to stop ripping off his software. They told him, when it's easier to pay for than to duplicate, it won't be stolen. The United States Gold Reserve Act of 1934 outlawed most private possessions of gold, forcing us citizens to sell it to the Treasury. Americans were not able to freely own and trade gold again until 1975. In 2010, a law student filed a lawsuit against an attorney that made a public offer on Dateline to give $1 million to anyone who could cover the distance between Jackson Airport and a hotel where 4 people were murdered in less than 30 minutes. The student did it in 19 minutes, but the attorney refused to pay up. A sailor in the British Royal Navy may only grow a beard if they can achieve a respectable full enough beard after 2 weeks' growth. UPS had problems recruiting drivers when expanding in Germany because the brown uniform looked like Nazi youth group uniforms. UPS had to change the color to green. Traditional balsamic vinegar is aged for 12 to 25 years in a battery of 7 barrels of successively smaller sizes and can cost over $100 per fluid ounce. The stuff one usually finds in supermarkets is regular wine vinegar with thickeners, flavors, and coloring agents added. Rugby was so popular in South Africa that in 1902 there was a temporary ceasefire in the Second Boer War so that a game could be played between British and Boer forces Afrikaners. In 2011, the city of Portland, Oregon discarded 7.8 million gallons of drinking water in a reservoir, not because of the dead animals regularly found in the drinking supply, but because a drunk 21-year-old peed in it. In Australia, Weird Al's Eat It reached #1 on the music charts, while the original, Beat It, only peaked at #3. Dr. Ignaz Philipp Semmelweis dropped the mortality rate for childbirth from 12% to 2% after he insisted that doctors wash their hands in between handling cadavers and delivering babies. There is a phenomenon called phantom vibration syndrome, and in a study conducted by researchers, 68% of people have experienced it. It is a sensory hallucination where you mistakenly think that your phone is buzzing. The murder rate in Honduras is so high that some cities have started offering a program for free funerals. There is a violent death in Honduras every 74 minutes. Lane Staley, former lead singer of Alice in Chains, was found over a week after he died, not because his friends or family notified someone, but because his accountant noticed he hadn't withdrawn money from his account in a week. Anytime you see an ingredients list that includes carmine, cochineal extract, or natural red 4, the product contains crushed up bugs. In 1999, a Florida man auctioned his kidney on eBay. The post read, "You can choose either kidney. Buyer pays all transplant and medical costs. Of course, only one for sale, as I need the other one to live. Serious bids only." The bids reached $5.7 million before eBay abruptly ended it. It is safe to eat the stickers that are on fruit, and the glue used to put them on is actually food grade. The disclaimer, "No animals were harmed during the making of this film," can be put on movies, even if animals died during the production, as long as cameras weren't rolling at the time. There is actually a law in Arizona called the Stupid Motorist Law, states that any motorist who becomes stranded after driving around barricades to enter a flooded stretch of roadway may be charged for the cost of his or her rescue. Icelanders can easily read Old Norse, a dead language that was spoken in Scandinavia over 1,000 years ago, because written Icelandic has changed so little. The blue whale can produce the loudest sound of any animal. At 188 decibels, the noise can be detected over 800 kilometers away. Pineapples were such a status symbol in 18th century England that you could rent one for the evening to take to a party. The word carotid artery comes from the Greek word karotis, meaning deep sleep. The cerebral cortex is composed of 6 layers of cells. Roman emperors believed that eating lettuce would help a person sleep. Compared to humans, houseflies are 10 million times more sensitive to the taste of sugar. In the USA, 10% of children and adolescents suffer from mental illness severe enough to cause impairment. However, only 20% of these children and adolescents receive mental health services. The bacterium Streptococcus pneumoniae causes more than 3,000 cases of meningitis in the USA each year. John Adams, 10th President of the USA, and his son, John Quincy Adams, 6th President of the USA, were both born in Braintree, Massachusetts. Caffeine is the most widely used behaviorally active drug in the world.